Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that little bell so you know when we do our next video. Now listen up, we have some news to talk about today. We're going to talk about Star Wars. We're going to talk about some stuff that's come up. Apparently now Star Wars owes you money if you don't like their new movies. And we're going to talk a little bit about Miss Kathleen Kennedy. Is she fired? Is she gone? Is she quitting? What's up with it? According to YouTube's The Quartering, in an article he got from the super reliable and super real news site, the Babylon Bee, Star Wars was ordered by a judge to give you money if you don't like their movie. That's right, if you were disappointed in any way with the sequel trilogy, you are now entitled to be paid. And we're talking thousands of dollars. We're talking they have to pay out millions and millions and millions of dollars to all the fans that they have wronged by putting out this trash sequel. Oh God, does that sound right? Does that sound even remotely possible? Does this sound like something that would happen in real life? Because he's reporting this as super real. According to the Quartering, this is super real. This is happening. If you don't like the sequels, you are entitled to be paid. That's sad. That's sad on so many levels. That is sad on so many levels that we can't even begin to fathom how horrible that would impact the entire film community. Say you're a writer of anything at all. If somebody don't like it, you have wronged them, you have caused them pain and suffering, and now by this judge's decision, you are in fact supposed to pay out money to these people because you have physically somehow wronged them, mentally somehow wronged them with your horrible content. How dare you try to entertain anyone? How dare you? You have ruined their childhood. You have ruined their lives. Your very existence in trying to entertain the public is horrible. Do you get where that can go? Do you understand why that would be a horrible and wrong thing to do to the film community? This article goes on to then say that they're going after the people who made Batman and Robin and a few other movies that people apparently just don't like. And where's it stop? Where's it stop at that point? If this was a real thing, this would be the end of film. This would be the absolute end of the film industry. Let me tell you what would officially happen if Disney was actually ordered to do this. Disney's doors would close down. No warning. No, I'm sorry, America. I'm sorry, world. Their doors would close down. On every Disney production door across the world, you would see a great big sign with a middle finger saying bye. Because the reason for that is no film production company, no company at all, no writer, no creator, no producer, no director, no actor is ever going to take part in anything that's going to allow people to all of a sudden just be like, I don't like this content, now you owe me money. That is a stupid, worthless thing that happens. It is horrible. that we even have people that would think like this. Except, guess what? We don't. The quartering, in fact, is talking about a fictional subject. Yeah, the Babylon Bee that he's quoting from, if you go into their exact website, well, it doesn't say really real reliable news. In fact, what does it say? It says the best fake news site ever. That's right, it pretty much says the best fake news site ever. So why am I talking about this then? Why are we talking about this? We're talking about it because of a simple thing. It is presented to us as fact. It is presented to us by the quartering as though this is really happening, as though this is the future of our film industry, as though this judge, this fictional judge, wherever he is, because the article made him up, has determined that you as a fan, if you don't like content, are supposed to get paid for it. For having to endure the pain and suffering. And there's something immensely wrong with that. There's something immensely wrong with that because we believe the things that we see sometimes without thinking about it, without doing the research ourselves. When I first saw this, and I didn't know what the Babylon Bee was, I was like, wait a minute. Is this real? Is this like what? Because I'd never heard of this site before. I never heard of it. And I had to check this out because I'm like, if this is true, then every one of these movies behind me, I don't have to do anything anymore. Because if I'm supposed to jump on some bandwagon and destroy Hollywood, well, then me as a fan, I have two choices. I can die poor, jump on the bandwagon, be rich, and never have to work again a day in my life. There is a real problem there when you're presenting something like that as fact, because there are people that are believing this, and imagine their surprise when they go and they find out, whoa, this is fake, because they're not doing the research to begin with, so they're actually going to look into this in a completely different way. They think they're owed money. I'm sure the quartering got several emails and whatnot saying, oh, hey, how can I get this money? Because the people aren't going to look up this article to find out that this is a fake news site. People like the quartering are a problem with today's fandom. He constantly spouts out this fake news rumor crap on all of your fandoms and utterly destroys them. This kind of toxic fandom is exactly what destroys fandoms to begin with, because we as fans tend to believe what we see. And when we see some big news story like this, as ridiculous as it sounds, you go, whoa, wait, did this happen? And there is that part of you, even though it sounds stupid, even though in your heart of hearts, in your mind of minds, you know that this cannot possibly be true. You just sit there and you look and you go, well, he said it's super real. He said it's a reliable news source. And if you've never heard of that news source before, well, okay. So it's very important as fans that we not buy into all of these hate tubers. There's been a thing lately with a lot of YouTube videos where people have said that their content is being corrupted, that basically their likes are being taken away, their subscribers are being lost. And a lot of the Star Wars YouTubers that fall into the same category as the quartering, spreading rumors about different fandoms. These people are claiming that the great and mighty, horrible, evil Kathleen Kennedy is behind it. They're saying that YouTube is being influenced by Disney and therefore by Kathleen Kennedy herself or some other executive, because a few of them have other executives they're blaming. But it all comes down to Kathleen Kennedy in the end, don't it? And they're saying that Kathleen Kennedy is personally removing their likes and their subscribers. That's not right. That's impossible. Or is it? Because if you honestly think about it, why wouldn't a big company like Disney just outright destroy hatred against them? They have the power. They're an evil corporation. They can do that. Except that YouTube is also a corporation. YouTube is a corporation that wants to make money. They want all their people to succeed. So when they want all their people to succeed, why are they going to purposely sabotage you? Why would they do something like that? Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. YouTube, in fact, did a quick search on YouTube to find out why people's likes have been vanishing, why people's subscribers have been dwindling down. Why is this happening? Well, it's simple. This is happening because we have entered a new era in YouTube where YouTube has changed their rules. That simple. YouTube has changed the way they're doing things. Why? Not to be evil, not to be horrible, but to be more true. It's all to make sure that their system is more accurate. Because back in the day when you were on TV, they had this whole Nielsen rating system where people were given a box. And the way it worked was everything they watched was recorded for the TV people. You know, it was all validated. They were like, yeah, they watched this show. If they were flipping through the channels and they saw a show that they didn't watch, that wasn't recorded as actual viewing. With YouTube for a long time, you could go into a video, you could watch a couple seconds, count it as a like, count it as a view. You know, it counted if you hit like as, hey, I like this video, whatever. Your subscriptions, you know, your subscribers, you know, everything was good. But now the way they've done this is they take it away, that whole, oh, I watched this video. That's the main thing they're taking away. This other stuff isn't happening. So in other words, these YouTubers that are claiming that, oh, my likes are disappearing, my subscribers are disappearing, they're actually wrong. And not only are they wrong about that, but the one thing they are right about is that their views have been taken away. Where they might have 3,000 views or so many views, all of a sudden they see that number drop. And this comes because back in the day when they would flip through the channels on the TV, if they didn't watch the show, it wasn't recorded as a view. YouTube simply has changed their rules so that they can better monitor what you are watching as a viewer. That means that me as a content creator may see a view pop up that will go, oh, this person watched. It doesn't tell me who watched. It doesn't tell me why. It tells me a number. And at the end of the day, I may see that number decrease by 1 or 2. And that's, to me, when I saw it for the first time, because I did see it happen, I was like, oh, wow, wait. And so when I heard them talking about it, I'm like, whoa, is this actually a thing? Is this happening? How is this happening? Only I wasn't stupid enough to believe that Kathleen Kennedy and the powers that be at Disney are somehow controlling YouTube. So what did I do? I typed into YouTube exactly what they were saying, that this is happening. And YouTube simply said, oh, yeah, we've changed the rules so that we can better create this environment where we know what's going on in your videos, how people are watching. If somebody watches for 3 seconds, it's like they flipped the channel. You don't want that viewer. Only problem is, as a YouTuber, you're probably like, yeah, I do. And, so that's that. Now that, my friends, is the unfortunate fact. So when you're talking about Kathleen Kennedy having all this power, you're talking about Star Wars having all this power, you're talking about the quartering losing views, you're talking about all this stuff, right? Did it ever occur to you, Mr. The Quartering? Did it ever occur to you, any of you hate tubers spreading hate upon the fandoms, that maybe the fans are unsubscribing to you? Because, look, that's the thing. Every YouTube channel is probably going to go through, oh, I'm subscribed, oh, I'm not subscribed to. Everyone's going to lose subscribers for whatever reason or gain subscribers for whatever reason. When you're big enough that you're noticing it, when you're that big and you're noticing it, then maybe it is the content you're putting out. Like me, I'm a nothing YouTuber right now. I've just started. I have nothing of any real, importance here on this channel in terms of, oh, I have this many viewers, because my numbers right now are small. So if I lose a subscriber, I'm going to notice. If I get a dislike, I'm going to notice more than I would if I had hundreds and hundreds of subscribers. The difference here is that, I know to think about it a little bit smarter than they're thinking. And that's kind of the problem here. When the Quartering is talking about all this rumor stuff, when he's talking about all this fake news stuff and presenting it as though it's fact, just like all these other hate tubers do. These people who want to destroy your fandom with this fake news crap that they're spreading about your fandom, saying that certain members of your fandom are evil, saying that your fandom owes you money, saying stand up because the fans demand to be heard because we don't like the movie. All that is toxic to the fandom in a way that is just, it's unmeasurable, because you have all these people who are watching who suddenly believe, hey, wait a minute, am I the only one who likes this? And that can hurt a fandom. If it's like back in the day, if you were playing board games, like, or you were playing D&D or something, and you were like getting to be in a certain level of school, it was kind of this shameful moment. And thank God we were out of that era where, you can actually do things and not have people judge you as much. However, there's still a lot of judgment. In fact, if you're talking about movies and somebody disagrees with you, it can lead to a massive argument, and that's always been true. Because all film is subjective, and that's the thing. It's all subjective. You're allowed to dislike it. You're allowed to dislike in a fandom entirely. You're allowed to not be a fan. The difference here is when you're spouting out these fake rumors just to destroy a fandom, and then you want to cry that your viewership has gone down, or your likes are being taken away, or your views are being taken away, or your subscribers have vanished. It shouldn't come as a surprise. Maybe the real fans are finally sick of it. Maybe the fans that are actually trying to be good fans are sick of that kind of crap on YouTube. At least I, as a fan, really hope so. So let's move on to the next topic, which is sort of a continuation of this one. Is Kathleen Kennedy really evil? So, is Kathleen Kennedy this crazy evil person? Well, I've already answered this question for you. No, she's not. However, the rumor continues to persist that she has somehow got this agenda. She's somehow got this horrible agenda. Well, I'm going to tell you a secret. I've been wrong about some of this for a long time. And when I'm wrong, I admit I'm wrong. And on this YouTube channel, if I ever am wrong about anything, hey, I will admit I'm wrong. I'm not going to stand here and spread the fake news, rumor mill crap. If I say something that's wrong, I'll admit it's wrong. Now, that being said, for a long time, and I don't know where I saw this at, when I was a little kid, I saw this, I guess it must have been a Comic-Con event, where George Lucas was doing some sort of Comic-Con, and he was doing some sort of interview for a news station. And he was talking about having strong female characters. And even this memory is a little bit fuzzy, but it's always sort of been there, talking about how Princess Leia is powerful and she's strong and all this. And somehow in my mind, for a long time, I've got something a little bit twisted, because around the time of Empire or Return of the Jedi, somewhere in there, he had adopted Katie Lucas. And I remember seeing a lot of pictures of him and his family for a long time around that time. I always thought that was some sort of charity event. And because he has given money to a lot of little charities, and he did adopt a little girl, so it would stand to reason that he supports that kind of thing. So whenever I have been asked about the Force is female as a comment, I have oftentimes said, hey, the Force is female has always been a thing. He has 2 daughters and he has 1 son. It's probably George Lucas that came up with the Force is female. It's been around for a long time. This is nothing new. That's kind of true. However, my statement as to the Force is female existing then is wrong. While George Lucas did in fact adopt a little girl, and he did in fact have 2 girls and 1 daughter, and has talked several times about Princess Leia being a strong supporting female character, a strong leading female character, and he has supported a lot of different causes for children of all ages, he did not in fact create the Force is female as I kind of thought. So even I bought into some of this stuff about the Force is female is a Star Wars created thing. It's not. That's right. The Force is female was not created by Star Wars. It was not created by Kathleen Kennedy. And it was not created by Disney. It has nothing at all to do with any of that stuff. Do you remember back in the day when Nike used to have the Just Do It logo, and you know, all this wear and all this stuff, and they'd come up with these charities, and they would do stuff for other charities, and they'd do these events. You'd see Nike in the background. Well, what happened here is that Nike was doing this film festival of some sort, and it's actually to help women get into the film industry, which is not a bad thing at all. It's really not. We could use a lot more women in the film industry, because You know, it's not that they're not going to tell good stories. Anybody who thinks otherwise, anybody who sits there and says that women have no place in film, you have no place in life. Sorry. If you say that one group or one type of person has no place in film, then you have no place in life. Everybody has a right to have their story told, and this includes the women, people of color, or anything. They all have their reasons to have their stories told, and we can use more of everything in the film industry. So Nike was supporting bringing more women into fantasy and film in general. So they wanted to get a bunch of people to come and speak. Well, Nike created this slogan: the force is female. Not meaning the force, but meaning the force. Like, the force of things to come. Not the force like, oh, the Jedi. So they created that. So then what happened? Well, why is Kathleen Kennedy wearing it? Kathleen Kennedy, if you look at her IMDb page, you're going to find that she is one of the, if not the most iconic female producer of all time. You can literally look back at your childhood and see that she has produced your childhood. Every moment of your childhood. Every movie you have liked. So, of course, they want someone like that in their corner. They want someone like that at this film festival to be talking about, hey, women, you can do this. Come on. Now, they gave her the shirt. It had nothing to do with the fact that she was now the head of Star Wars. Okay, the head of LucasArts. It had nothing to do with that. But let's be real. She probably found it a little bit amusing. Wouldn't you? If you were working for Star Wars and you got to wear a shirt that said The Force and it meant anything at all, any film festival or event and they put The Force on your shirt followed by any slogan at all, wouldn't you be a little bit like, that's clever? The thing was, it had nothing to do with Star Wars. She just had to wear that shirt because that was literally the slogan for the event. So all these pictures of her with the Force is Female shirt has nothing to do with any secret agenda that she has. Kathleen Kennedy does not want to replace Luke Skywalker with Luke Sia. She doesn't want to replace Darth Vader with Darth Vader. She doesn't want to replace Han Solo with Hanna Solo. And Prince Lee, okay? There's none of this going on. There's no Chewbacca-ette. Okay? None of this. She's not replacing your characters with females, nor does she have any agenda thereof. So that rumor needs to actually just be put to rest. It really does, because it's horrible to even think that she has that type of power because, spoiler alert, she don't. Kathleen Kennedy is the head of LucasArts. This means she oversees day-to-day. She don't oversee the production of The Mandalorian. That's not even a give a crap on her radar probably 99% of the time. Her ideal agenda is make money for LucasArts so that Disney makes money, so that I have a job. You know how stupid it would be of her to try to have an agenda, being that she's not the person in charge? That there's a boss above her? A little bit of common sense will tell you that that agenda won't work. Her having some sort of secret agenda will not work. So there's YouTubers out there saying, oh, there's a civil war between Star Wars. Yay. The people who are making The Mandalorian, if they take over all of Star Wars, I'm happy. Make those people take it all over. It's great. If Kathleen Kennedy leaves and they put them in charge of all of LucasArts, I'm fine with that too. But at the end of the day, she has no power. And I want you to think about this. If she has no power like that on the actual production side of things now, I don't know how much production power she has, how much producing power she still carries. But a producer doesn't control casting. A producer doesn't control a script. Here's what a producer does. A couple things, and they do a lot more, but here's kind of the gist of what a producer's job is. A producer will go and scout locations. They'll find the perfect location. Sometimes they will say, hey, this actor or this actress might be pretty good, to the casting director. However, it's the casting director that will ultimately cast whatever character. Sometimes you'll hear stories of a director or a writer or even the producer going, I want this person, and making it happen. But that's not always the norm. That's actually, you want a big name star, you're going to get a big name star. That's what that is. So when you're talking about things like that, you got to take that with a grain of salt. She doesn't have that kind of power, and she never did. Her job was to give money, scout locations, do that sort of things. Now, whatever her job is in terms of LucasArts, she's not overseeing the day-to-day. She's there to make them money. She's there to be a desk jockey. She's sitting in an office somewhere, people. If she goes on location, it's just her going on location for whatever. But she's not going to control your Star Wars. She's not going to take away from your Star Wars. She's not going to say, hey, Favreau, fire this dude. She's not going to say, hey, Johnson, fire this dude. She's not going to say anything of the sort to any of that. So when you want to blame someone for Disney's current situation, when you want to blame someone for Cara Dune being fired, blame the head of Disney, because that's the dude that sent down the order, not her. Because let's say, for the sake of argument, she had to send down this order. Let's say she knew that Lucas would disapprove of the comment that Cara Dune's actress, Gina Carano, made. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that would happen. Well, she would simply pass the buck on to someone else. She's not going to outright fire this person herself. Gina Carano would not be called into her office with her saying, look, I never liked you. Goodbye. It's not going to happen like that. In any big company, any film company or anything, you have a power. You have this power level. You have the people at the top and you have the people at the bottom. And the people that are in the middle here are making that content or making that film or whatever. They're only in the middle while they're making whatever content that is. Once The Mandalorian is gone, if they don't have a project, well, they're just not in the loop anymore. Maybe they keep them on as a writer. Maybe they keep them on as an advisor. That's the best they can hope for. But if Kathleen Kennedy has to put forth an order to fire these people, she's just going to pass it on to someone in the middle and say, hey, I got this order to fire this person, or I don't think George Lucas would like this person. Let's, get rid of them. Then it's up to that person to do that. That doesn't make her the evil person. She didn't set out to destroy Gina Carano. She didn't set out to destroy your Star Wars views. We talked about that in the previous video about how this is the movie that had to be made. That the sequel trilogy had to be made this way. And since she has no control over the overall story things going on, and she can only say, hey, yeah, I'll enable that to happen. Like, her power there, you know, if she didn't want the things happening in The Mandalorian to happen, they probably wouldn't happen. But there is no way that she's controlling the story to The Mandalorian. Once she approved the series, she doesn't get final script approval a lot of the time, probably. That's just not the way it works. So Kathleen Kennedy is not this evil, horrible being. She's not out to destroy Disney. She's not out to destroy Star Wars. She's not out to make some sort of agenda, whatever agenda you want to throw her way. She doesn't hate YouTubers. She's not behind the whole losing subscriptions and losing likes and losing views. She's not behind anything like that at all. Let's stop making her out to be the Sith Lord, because she's not. She doesn't have that type of power. She never has, and she never will. Now, that being said, Kathleen Kennedy, is she going to get fired? Our final topic of the day. No green flashing light with words this time. A simple no. She is not getting fired. She's done nothing wrong. She will not be getting fired anytime soon. This rumor has unfortunately kept going and going and going like some sort of demented Energizer bunny among the people calling themselves the Fandom Menace, the people who spread rumors of hate across different internet environments, the fake trash news sites who only exist to get views. Unfortunately, this rumor is not going anywhere. It will not go anywhere. It will get views till the end of time. By me even putting it in the thumbnail. Is Kathleen Kennedy as evil as we say? Probably going to get me a couple extra views. That don't mean people are going to like what I'm saying. If you're part of the people who hate Kathleen Kennedy, you probably don't like what I'm saying. But all film is subjective. So, you know, hey, it is what it is. Kathleen Kennedy hasn't done anything wrong in terms of her job. Therefore, she's not going anywhere. She is getting up there in age, which probably means she will be retiring soon. And then, if you don't like her, you can rejoice. That being said, that's where we will end this video for the day. I do want to remind you that since YouTube has changed the way it's doing things, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that little notification bell. And if you made it all the way through this video, I appreciate you so much. And thank you for your views. And thank you for being a watcher of this channel. Continue to watch us for all things dealing with positive fandom. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to do news like this where I have to talk about things that, you know, involve a little bit more toxic fandom type of situations. I have to deal with, you know, news all the way across the board, but I will give you the truth. I will give you the what is it of it all, and you know, together we can create a more positive fandom across the board for all fandoms involved. That's what this channel is about. It's not about one type of fandom necessarily. We will be addressing several others. So whether we're talking about D&D, whether we're talking about movies, whether we're talking about Star Wars, whether we're talking about this, whether we're talking about that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and join us on our next video. And be safe out there.